Hey, everybody. We are here to talk to you about human design. So, I'm Carissa. This is Danielle. And Danielle is a human design expert. So, I'm going to start to ask her some questions so that we can get some clarity and start to grow some excitement about what's also coming for MoonBeaman retreats. We got Glisten coming up in January. So, it's all got some human design workshops integrated. And so this is going to really focus on what the heck is human design? And so, what exactly is human design in the simplest terms that you can think of?
Yes. So this is often the question I get asked of, if I told someone, I'm a human design coach, business mentor, marketing specialist, and they're like, wait, hang on, what's human design? And Uh, and the way I've always described it to people is it is your energy, your energetic mapping, how you are here to show up in the world. And it really is a way of how you best communicate, how you best make decisions, really looking at like your purpose in life, uh, how you coexist with others around you. And so to me, it's always felt like this very complete system within human design. The other day, I described it to someone as a combination of disc assessment, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, like literally any personality typing test you could find or think of. Human design is like a culmination of all of those things. But the piece that I've always loved the most is the fact that it's based off of your birth date and time. So, unlike a lot of the personality tests that you take, where you're answering questions of how you think you might respond in those situations, human design is strictly like, this is how you came into the world. And this is like you at your finest, like you in alignment because you came into this world with, you know, not any preconceived notions. We'll talk past lives at some other point in time, but really how you were designed to live as a human in a spiritual being.
And the way that I've heard it described is it's like a human blueprint to like,
Yes.
hey, this is a blueprint to the way that you were built and all the energies and time and space and everything.
Yeah.
And so when something doesn't feel in alignment, this is why. And when something
Hmm.
does feel in alignment, this is why. It'll give you,
Exactly.
it's like a guidebook to what makes
Right.
you feel good and what makes you feel bad inside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like your natural operating system.
Yeah.
And again, it's sort of, I mean, I love that you brought it up that way because what I really just got is like, when you buy an appliance or let's take a refrigerator, for example, like you buy this new refrigerator and you've got the instruction manual and something breaks on the refrigerator. Like, okay, let me go open my instruction manual. That is like human design. If something inside of you feels off, out of alignment, is broken, which I don't think any of us are broken. We're just finding the best ways to bring ourselves back into alignment. Human design is your handbook, your instruction manual on how you operate. And so I love that you brought that forward because it is such a great and easy way to digest human design that way.
Right, right. I feel like, we can be the human design guides and help guide people through their human designs, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
speaking of that, I've heard a lot before I heard about human design. I was hearing, manifestor, manifesting generator, generator, so those are different types of human design. So if you'd
Hmm.
like to maybe describe a little bit of what these different types of human design mean, so that
Yes.
we get, a little bit more in depth with that for our listening crew here.
Exactly. Yeah. So within human design, there's five types. And so that's like, I always like to think of it as sort of this overarching. umbrella, like your energy type. And so, great part about human design is like, yeah, you can be a generator or manifesting generator, or we'll get into the rest of the types in just a second. But the amazing part is that, again, human design is so specific to your birth date and time that, for example, my husband and I are both generators and we both have the same profile lines, which, again, another component of human design for another day. But we are also so different in so many other aspects of our chart that, yeah, we can both be generators, but we function very differently. And so I love seeing the differences in our own charts, even though we are both that same generator type. So, since we're on the topic of generators, generators are about 33% of the collective. And so they make up a very large chunk of the collective. And when we think about generators, they're like the Energizer Bunny. They've got so much energy. They're like, let's do it, especially when they are doing things that bring them so much joy. So, following your joy is like a generator's mantra. And they can be the type of person that is like sitting at their computer or, out doing something that the hours just fly by. And then it's like, oh my gosh, wait, it's already 10 p.m. And how am I still going? Well, it's because they are in full alignment with the thing that they are loving to do. So
The flow states.
the flow state. And I love a good flow state. And my husband has always looked at me like, wait, how are you still doing this thing that you're working on? I'm like, because I love it. I love it. And so the time just flies by for me. Uh, the other thing that I always like to note for my generator friends is that just because you can doesn't mean you should. So for a lot of
Amen.
generators, yes. And we'll get into the manifesting generator in just a second too, but this also applies for my manifesting generator friends as well, because the biggest piece is generators can do, like, they can do a lot of things, but if they're doing things just because they can and not because it's something that is actually bringing them joy or they really love, it's really the quickest path to burnout or resentment or feeling like I signed up for this thing and yeah, I can do it, but like I'm not lit up by it. And so it's going to be subpar work on their part and just leads down a path that we don't really want our generators to go down. So
Right.
that's a huge component for generators is, yes, follow your joy and always remember just because you can doesn't mean you should. So then we have our manifesting generators, our beautiful Manny Gen. So you might hear it as manifesting generator, Manny Gen, or MG. So any three of those names, you will understand a manifesting generator that way. And MGs are sort of about the same percentage as generators. So roughly in the 33%. No one on this call, please follow my math because it might not
You
all
might add up
quite,
more or less than
yeah,
100%.
I'll get close enough in there. But my MGs are amazing because they are so multi-passionate. That's the way I've always sort of thought and remembered manifesting generator is that it's manifesting generator multi-passionate. So they love to do all sorts of different things. A lot of my Manny Gens will do, they might be a hairdresser for a couple of years and then they get bored and they're like, actually, now I'm going to go be a running coach. And then they do that for a couple of years. And then they're like, and now I want to become a lawyer. Actually, I was just thinking about this. I'm like, I wonder if Kim Kardashian is a manifesting generator because she's done like so
I bet
many of
she
these
is.
different things. Yes,
I bet
gonna
she
have to
is.
look that up. Yeah. But that's one of the biggest things that I always like to remind my MGs of is this is how you were designed to be. So when society makes us feel like you have to just stick to one path, or like this is the thing you chose and now you just have to do it, that's going to stifle an MG's creativity so fast. So we really have to give permission, you as an MG, any other MGs out there, to give yourself permission that you are interested in so many different things and you can do them all really well. And
Mm.
so when you start getting bored with something, it's actually 100% okay to shift gears and go into something that is bringing you so much more joy. Um, my son, who's 4, is an MG, and I'm like, okay, I know it's a combination of 4-year-old boy and manifesting generator, but he is the type who is like, he'll be playing with his blocks for, an hour. And then all of a sudden he just gets up and he's like, now I'm over here doing this thing. And
Mm.
so I really have to remember too, as the parent of a manifesting generator, that this is just how he was designed to be, that he's going to get bored with something and it just shows up a lot quicker in a 4-year-old than it does in, I think, an adult.
Yeah.
But to let him explore and be in that state of, ooh, what's bringing me joy now? Or what am I interested in now? And to not, not have him feel like, well, I have to stick to this one career path or one direction. So I always find it fascinating to discover our children's human designs as well, because we can support them so much better as they grow up into adults who are living in alignment with themselves rather than, you know, here I am 36 years in and feeling like, oh, okay, what's the conditioning that I'm deconditioning myself from? And the sooner we
Working
can
on
do it
that
with our
myself.
children, right?
I
Right?
got all of
I
my
mean, I
human
think
design books over
that's where,
here working on all
yes,
of that.
I was literally I just had the Gates book pulled up today because I was doing someone's chart and
This
I
one,
love, yes.
this is
Yep.
one of my favorites. Do you see all my
Hmm.
little, I got my little tags in
I
there.
love it. I love it. Yes. So that's my MGs, my manifesting generators. And then we have manifestors. So manifestors are roughly 9% of the collective. And I always look at them as like the fire starters. Like if you're thinking about driving a car, they're the like ignition. They're the ones kicking everything off, getting things started. They have these big, bold ideas, but they're not meant to follow through on them. So that's the sort of, I think, the caveat that's somewhat blows a manifestor's mind when they discover that about themselves is like, it's not that you're incapable of finishing something, it's that you are designed to not finish the thing.
You are the
So,
idea creator, and the other people are the workers, the generators, the ones with the motors, right?
exactly, yes. And to that point, what you just said, the motors. So, manifesting generators and generators are the only two types who have a defined sacral. And the sacral is like the energizer bunny, like your internal battery. And so it is very easy for generators, manifesting generators, to just keep going. Whereas manifestors, and then the next two types that we'll get to, do not have this internal battery. So for manifestor, it is really important for them to work in phases. Like you might have this really big burst of energy where you are birthing the idea, like everything's getting downloaded to you. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And you have all of this like influx of energy. And then there's going to come a natural point in that idea phase and creation of it where you're like, I'm ready for this to be in implementation phase. And that is the time for a manifester to pass it off to someone like a generator or a manifesting generator and let it go, and then be in a rest phase. So they're going to work in these really big cycles and then have like a natural come down. And so I think the more a manifester can start to recognize their phase and how long it is, like you might work in a shorter burst, or you might work in a much longer burst if that idea is really big and it's coming to fruition. And then you're like, okay, now it's ready, and pass it off to someone else. Um,
You're
so just
being
recognizing,
able to recognize that is life changing.
yes,
I mean,
yeah,
like that could be a life changing realization for somebody.
right. Yeah. And so often it is for a lot of my manifestors to really recognize that one, I don't have to be the one to complete the idea. Just because I birthed it doesn't mean it has to like be finished off by me. And then two, to really recognize their phase and to become cognizant of it. So, if this is sort of your first time as a manifestor hearing all of this information, just start to be in recognition of creation. And when it starts to feel like, ooh, this is a place where I feel like this idea can get passed off, that you start to track. I mean, we think about it like in our female cycles, we track our phases and when we're in ovulation and when we're in
I have an app
release
for that.
phase, right? I mean, there should be an app for a manifester. If not, well, I'll have a manifester kick off the idea and then I'll finish it for them. But that's, I think, one of the biggest things is like just start to track it. And then it will really feel very natural of, oh, okay, I'm in sort of this phase of idea creation. And now like I need, you know, maybe I need 2 weeks of rest before another idea starts to formulate or
Recharge time, right? Recharge.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, 100%. So that's my manifestors, my big idea people. And one thing for manifestors, they are not here to follow the trends. So if you have been feeling like, oh, there's this trend on Instagram and I'm over it, like I'm over the trends. Great, because you are actually here to set the trends, not follow them. So that's a big piece for my manifestors because they might sort of feel like, well, no one's really done this before, or I haven't seen it done yet. That's the best indication for a manifestor to move forward with that idea. So that's my manifestors. And then we have projectors, and projectors are roughly 22% of the collective. And similarly, they do not have a defined like sacral center, they don't have that internal battery. So, a lot of the times with my projectors, they're often the ones who are like, oh, but I resonate more um with the generator, with the manifesting generator. And well, let's think back in all areas of your life where you couldn't go, go, go all the time. And you actually did need more rest. And what conditioning do you have from, maybe being in a corporate space that it was 9 to 5, and that's just like what you were basically forced into. And when projectors start to like connect the dots, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So now they really understand that in a similar fashion of manifestors, I often see with projectors that they can spend about 4 to 6 hours a day in really deep work. And so it's the thing that like they are most passionate about, the thing that really brings them joy. And so they can have this like sort of condensed amount of time during the day to work. And then on either side, they need rest, play, like, and rest doesn't have to mean like laying horizontal and taking a nap, although it could, like
Right?
whatever rest looks like for a projector. But it could also mean going out for a walk. It could mean getting in nature. It could mean playing with your kids or playing with your dog. Like just some time to not be all up here and to really use that as a way to recharge their own battery.
Mhm.
The other big thing with a projector is that I like to think of them as the seers of the collective. So they really are seeing things before they happen. Like I have a projector friend who is like, I can see for someone how much longer it's going to take before they're ready for, you know, for life's purpose or what they're here to do, or which is so fascinating to me that like
Ah,
she is seeing all of this way ahead of time. And the caveat for projectors is that their strategy, which is really how you operate in the world, is to wait for the invitation. And so, what that means in a human design world is that you are really, as a projector, here to sort of keep your insights under wraps until someone asks you for them. And asking can look like me directly saying, like, hey, Carissa, what do you think about this? Or it can look like a projector creating an invitation for themselves. So if I was a projector, I might say, Carissa, something's come up that I think could really benefit you. Are you open to hearing about it? Or may I share something with you? And so that's an opportunity for a projector to create that invitation, because if they share these, deep insights, these things that they are seeing with someone who is not ready for them, it actually hinders a projector because it makes them feel bitter, makes them feel like, I have this amazing information. Why don't you want it? And really, again, like a damper on a projector. So, really being in that space to wait for the invitation or create the invitation yourself allows a projector to share their insights with someone who is actually ready to hear them. So, that's what I love about projectors is again like they can see so much, and I always ask a projector, like, yeah, please tell me what it is you're seeing, what it is that's coming up for you. And I love that. And then we have our final type, which is a reflector. And the reflector is 1% of the collective. So we are looking at like very small percentage. And every time I meet a reflector, I think of them as like the unicorn of the collective because I'm like, oh my God, you're a reflector? No way. This is crazy. And so reflectors, as the name suggests, they are reflecting back what it is the collective needs to know, or like if you are having, a one-to-one conversation with a reflector, they are just mirroring back what it is you need to hear, recognize, be, you know, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like be cognizant of. Uh, I know a reflector who is a photographer.
mhm.
Like, this is so perfect for you because again, she's just reflecting back what everyone else is seeing of that other person. And so I always love talking to reflectors because again, they have such amazing insights. One thing for a reflector though is that their cycle is 28 days. So they move with the moon. And to some reflectors, it might be like, well, how do I ever get anything done if I'm like waiting
Once a
28
month.
days. Yeah, exactly. Once a month, you're getting things done. But the thing that I love to share with reflectors is that, yes, you can be watching like what's happening and share those insights and reflections like at the end of that month. But the other thing that I really love is that uh their self theme, so when they are in most alignment, is surprise. Like they get to be surprised by what's happening out in the world or what's happening in their very nature people. Like they really love like a warm space in terms of like warm and welcoming, like being out in nature, being in a place that feels very welcoming to them. So for them to be surprised by like what's going on each day, that's a way that I've seen reflectors be able to, you know, grow their businesses or to share their insights without needing to necessarily wait a full 28 days. So that is all of our human design types in a quick nutshell. And again, like I said,
In a
they're
nutshell.
so I love that. And again, like I said, so much of human design is so layered. Like it's like peeling back the next layer of the onion
Yeah, this
or
is just the
something else
first
that
step.
smells good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. This is
exactly.
just the first
Exactly.
step. And
Yeah.
if you're interested in getting a full human design report, it is included with your Glisten ticket purchase.
Yes.
And if you're interested in learning more prior to Glisten, we'd be happy to assist you with that as well. We'll put some links in the comments. And if you need anything, just feel free to reach out. We're very excited for the workshops coming at Glisten. It's just going to be more of a deeper dive once we get to know a little bit more about who's all attending and what everybody's human design is. And it is going to be life changing, not only for us, but for you. So we can't wait to welcome you. And again, thank you, Danielle, for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
And look forward to the next video because we've got more coming for you.